Yo, yo, this is Selric, and I'm back with another stream of Master Duel. This will be a short stream because I gotta go to work soon for a job. I'm a contractor, so I may be back soon, but it just depends on how this job goes. If I'm back, I may stream tonight, and if not, you'll probably see me this weekend because I'm not gonna have time to do it tomorrow, definitely. But I'm just gonna stream today for a little bit. Well, this morning for a little bit. And I'm just gonna go over a couple games that I played this morning and some last night. Because like I said, my laptop is very slow, so I only play on my phone. And it really just depends. And I don't want to lose a game due to time because my game is lagging or my mouse is lagging on me. So that's why I play on my phone. But I can definitely show you some games. I think I won two and I lost one. I'll show the one that I lost now. Yes, I'm two more games to I'm tripping. Diamond 4. So I lost my first game in Diamond. And I definitely went first this game. So I will show you that game. But I know this guy just outplayed me. He just had better cards than me. And it is what it is, you know. I'm not going to make any excuses. Because I definitely lose going first for the way I play my deck. And sometimes, like I said, I just misplay. So if I know I lost, I just scoop it up. It is what it is. And I think that's what I did. So I will show you this game. So I went first. Now this hand, it seemed okay. And what I do now is if I have this in my hand, wait, is it pause? Okay. When I have Fullest Burial Goods in my hand and Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, I'm just going to toss this in the graveyard because if my opponent tries to ash this will negate it. If they try to ash the Seeker of Sinful Spoils, this will negate this. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Diabella Star monster effect or your Sinful Spoils spell or trap or activation, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the effect. So even with Diabella Star, if they try to impermanence me, it will negate it. And honestly, it will only negate it if my opponent just doesn't read. So that's why I started doing that. I could have put Metaphors Fusion in my graveyard, but then again, my opponent probably read my cards. And that's why he or she didn't use any negates on any of my Sinful Spoils or my Diabella Star. So I set the Omni negate up and I use the Labyrinth, set up a big welcome, have Eldritch in the graveyard. I still get that free draw. And I got the Prism. So this is a very weak field, no offense. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just saying it's a weak field. I know it was. So he or she is setting up their Thunder Dragons. And they use Horus. Now, you notice what they discarded with Horus. They discarded a Shuffler. So that Shuffler, when I seen that, I was like, damn. Because now they're going to, if I use my Omni negate, if I would have did it right there and then activated my If I would have omnigated this and then activated her effect in the graveyard, they would have just shuffled it away. That's why I didn't do it. So they summoned the Horus monster. So I just used Big Welcome immediately because I wanted to get back the Shangri-La, and I was trying to bait the Shuffler, which I did, and they shuffled that Eldritch and oh, what happened? Oh, what did they? Yeah, and my Big Welcome. So I did that just to set up a. I had to pretty much use everything at this point. I set grass up and I set up a rollback. So they pretty much put my stuff back in my deck. And that's a big weakness of mine. Like I said in the previous video, if my opponent can disrupt my graveyard, that's going to give me a hard time. So I set that up, and I only got a rollback because I wanted to have the Omni negate in the graveyard, and I wanted to be able to have some type of disruption right here. But I still have that. They went into Dingursu, which I didn't expect. I thought they would have went into zombie vampire or something. So when they went into that really screwed me in a way. But I knew I had to just hurry up and use it. I had to hurry up and use that effect. So, and they were just trying to get rid of all my stuff. So they were just playing me smart. You know, I couldn't do anything about it, honestly. So they got rid of my other card to summon something. Then he summoned the Thunder Dragon. I didn't really care about the Thunder Dragon, honestly. But this is where I messed up at. I will say this. I should have attacked Little Knight first before I used this. Because if I would have attacked Little Knight first, I would have literally just got rid of that, and then I would have kept rollback for my following turn. But I misplayed there. I should have waited to do that on main phase 2. This card. I should have waited for that. So when they used Little Knight, they took away my Prism, which, like I said, I misplayed right there. I should have waited. And I had to just end my turn because I wasn't going to destroy him. I could have just put Lady in attack mode, but it wouldn't have been no point. So he's setting up his stuff again. And I forgot what he played right here. Yeah, that's where I just scooped it up because I knew I lost at that point. So yeah, that was a lost game. I could have possibly used the Runic Cannon and then just flipped this whole field face down after he attacked, but Little Knight would have banished one of them. So it really didn't matter. I just lost that game. But good game to that person. I will admit defeat. I lost. This game, I forgot what this was. I think this was, what was this person doing? I think I did go first this game too. Yeah, I went first to this person. So this hand still, it wasn't a strong field. I really want to have at least 3 trap cards. I didn't want to actually use my Torby's effect to get rid of something because I would have he would have known when I was playing immediately, so I just didn't do it. So he gets Jen the Diamond Tiger. So when they did this, and this is like another engine card, Jen the Diamond Tiger, during the main phase, you can special summon Ken the Warrior Dragon from your hand or deck to your opponent's field and defense position, right? So when this card is special summoned by the effect of Jen the Diamond Tiger, your opponent draws 2 cards, then discard 1. So he was pretty much trying to set himself up to draw 2 cards and discard 1. So I'm glad I didn't use my Labyrinth effect of Torby, because I could have just sent Lost One to the graveyard because it's going to come back when they special summon from the extra deck. So I could have did that, but I decided to set it, and that was the good idea because he tried to draw 2 cards and discard 1 for his turn. So I just lost winded. I would just lost wind myself, my own monster. It is my monster, so I just used lost wind on it. So now I'm going to keep that monster. You can't beat over because his attack is what, 800. My defense is 15, so he couldn't beat over it. And the effect is negated, so I just keep the monster at this point. And like I said, Lost One comes back. Then I realized he was playing Sky Striker, so now he has to use his actual Sky Striker engine, and he has to use other cards to pretty much compensate now. But I stopped that draw 2 and discard 1 for his turn. So he's doing all the Sky Striker shit. So I summoned Lady, already had a trap card, and I used the Rumor Cannon, and I set up Lady. I used Lady to set up my Magic Deflector, which is pretty much, even though it's toxic, it is what it is. But Magic Deflector pretty much shuts down Sky Striker. Honestly, it does. They have some normal spells, but for the most part, it shuts that entire archetype down, because this says for the rest of this turn, negate all equip, field, continuous, and quick play spell card effects on the field. All Sky Striker has is spell cards that are quick play. Like, I will say, out of all their spell cards, 80% of them are probably quick play and continuous spells. I don't think they run equipped spells like that, and they run field spell. They run that field spell too. So I shut most of this stuff down. Now they have some normal stuff, normal spells like this is a quick play that gets shut down. That's a quick play, shut down. Field spell, shut down. So once that guy saw that, he probably was just like, damn. And like I said, people don't use that card like that. I've never even seen that card used other than myself since I started playing Master Duel, honestly. So I don't know if people use it. I'm sure people do. I just haven't seen it. But that card shuts down Sky Striker, and it even shuts down Horus in a way, if you do it at the right time. Or if Horus plays the field spell first, then they search and get the Umseti, and then if they use Umseti to get the continuous spell, if they play that continuous spell without summoning Umseti, I can just stop them. Now, yeah, they can discard Umseti and with the effect of the continuous spell, but they won't be able to send a Horus card to the graveyard. So they'll just have that Umseti. So unless they have a bunch of Horus monsters in their hand, it doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to do it for that turn. So getting back to this game, you notice I used the Rumor Cannon last turn, and I put down his Ken the Warrior Dragon. I'm keeping that face down. They're not getting that card back. That was my plan. And because it's face down, it helps out Lady. So as long as I have a set card, Lady's un lady's indestructible, and you can't target her with card effects. So mixed with Lord of the Heavenly Prism, you can't destroy set cards with card effects. So that's why I did that. And I'm not going to flip it face up. I'm not going to tribute it. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just going to keep it face down for for the remainder of the game as a set card. Since the guy tried to put that on my field, I'm keeping it. That's being toxic against me. I'm going to be toxic against you. So I mean, it is what it is, you know. So I set the Morella, and I have Lost Win again. So, and I have Magic Deflector. So I have some good cards. Now, this is where, and they know it's public knowledge that I have Magic Deflector. Use Upstart. Now, I should have waited. I think I should have waited for that, honestly, because I wanted to stop that. But that's the only card he's going to get off the entire time. So they summon the Sky Striker Kagari. So I use Lost Wind on it. I should never did that, honestly. But at this point, they're just trying to chain block me. That's what they did. And like I said before, if you chain block Lady, then that's going to pretty much mess me up. And if I didn't have this set, Ken the Warrior Dragon, Lady would have been pretty much vulnerable to card effects and targeting effects, all that stuff. So that's why I kept that face down. And I just said, screw it, I might as well use the Prism because he can't do anything else. And I set up a Grass for my following turn. So they summon Sky Striker Hayate. They attack me directly, which I don't care. All their stuff is pretty much shut down for the turn. And then they end the turn with the card that searches a Sky Striker card at the end phase. And that's not working because I'm at a deflector. And because I use the Paleozoic to put rollback in the graveyard, well, if I need to, I'll spam it. I'll spam Mana Deflector. So, and they know that, you know, they knew that. So that's why they quit, because there was nothing really they can do. I was just gonna, even though they had the one card in the graveyard, it really didn't matter because I was just gonna literally spam it. And I had Grass set up, so I would have had more disruption in the graveyard. I didn't even hit my draw phase. I didn't even draw a card yet. So I probably, whatever I would have drew, I would have just put it in the graveyard anyway for Torby. So I can have at least one other set trap card, and I would just activate Grass. And I would have started popping off even more. Now this game, I think I went first. This game, no, I think I went second this game. Actually, let me see. Let me see what they had in their deck. So yeah, Sky Striker, and this guy was running D Fissure. All that stuff would get negated for the turn. Even this would get negated for the turn. That would get negated. This is actually a different type of deck. Well, they even had this Clockwork Knight. So all their stuff, quick play, continuous. That's the field spell, yeah, that's continuous, quick play. I know that's quick play. Continuous, field spell, normal. So they only had how many? They had 4, 8, 10. They had 10 monsters. So they had 30 spells and 29 spells and one trap. Out of the 29 spells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 11. So out of the 29 spells, 11 of them are normal spells. So that's about, doing the math, that's about at least, I would say 80%, no, 70% of his spells are shut down with Magic Deflector. And I'm sure he had one face down. He probably had a Call by the Grave face down, most likely, or actually no, he had this face down. He actually did just draw that. So, oh no, he used that on the turn. So I'm thinking he had Call by the Grave face down, possibly this. He possibly had Cosmic Cyclone, and yeah, because he definitely had probably Cosmic Cyclone, because he couldn't use it because of Magic Deflector. If I didn't use Magic Deflector, he probably would have got rid of my Grass is Greener. And you know what? Let me check this guy's deck. He had Horus. He had 52. Oh, yeah, Metal Foes Fusion too. It's such a good card. He pretty much had a Horus type of deck, but he had 2 Super Polys. Now, even Magic Deflector still, if I activate Magic Deflector in the beginning of the turn, in the beginning of the actual draw phase or early on, and they have Super Poly, if they don't have a target, then they can't use it for that turn. So say I have Lady on the field, and then my opponent is trying to, they summon a monster, and then they decide to Super Poly my Lady with their monster. If I get my Magic Deflector off first, well, they can't do that, or it's going to be negated. And that's happened because people don't read, you know. So still a good game to this guy. I mean, he beat me fair and square. I couldn't do anything about it. It's very unique. That Super Poly really screwed me over that last game. But let's go to this game. I think this guy was running Centurion or Red Dragon Archfiend stuff, something like that. But I know, I think I went first this game too, I think. No, maybe I went second this game. Yeah, I went second. So, looking at my hand, I have 2 turn 0 plays. He's setting up his Centurion stuff. And I remember this was his rank up game too. So I was kind of worried. I'm like, damn, he's going first and he's playing Centurion and he's ranking up. So I was assuming he was going to do the same combo of setting up everything. But I remember he didn't. Their field wasn't as impressive. I wasn't that afraid of it, but it was still just, I had to get rid of stuff. So you'll see. Yeah, it wasn't like the best field. But I had two turn 0 plays. I set up a big welcome. And Wannabe, pretty much, like I said before in the last video, Wannabe is a good turn 0 card because it's like this guy, he ended his first turn with no spell and traps in the spell and trap card zone. So now I can look at the top 5 cards and excavate them and decide which card I want to use or set for that turn. So you probably can't see the cards I'm excavating because of the icons. I got Chain Hold, Transaction Rollback, Call by the Grave, Diabell's Original Sin Keeper, and Lady Labyrinth. So I set Chain Hold, and he places a Centurion in his spell and trap card zone. So I use Big Welcome, summon Lady, and I get back Chandelier. Now I do that to set up a Welcome Labyrinth. Yeah, I remember that. Welcome Labyrinth. Now they use their field spell, and that's why I like Chain Hold, because when they're trying to do all these chain effects, I'm going to negate one of them, or if they try to chain to my stuff, I can negate their effect. So it can literally, when your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card or effect activation, negate that opponent's effect. So I can either chain to my stuff with my opponent or their stuff. That's why that card is too good for me right now. Maybe it will change, but that card was too good. And as you see, he used that. They used Stand Up Centurion. Then they chain to Premier. They used Premier to chain to Stand Up Centurion. So they were trying to set themselves up by adding a Centurion card to their hand. And since I negated it, they had to banish a Premier from their deck or a card from their hand. And they had to banish a Premier. So that's one less Premier I got to worry about. And they summoned Sacred Dragon Archfiend, and it brought Lost Wind back. And I get the Metaphors Fusion off. I draw a card. Now, this is the card that I say, this gives me an Omni Negate. I reveal as Azamina Fusion Monster in my extra deck. And for every 4 levels it has, round down, shuffle 1 Simple Spells card from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck. Then special summon a revealed monster. So that's why this card it's a rare, but it's just really good for what I'm doing, since I'm using mostly trap cards. And I use this card, and once I use this card, I can just shuffle it into the deck and summon an Omni Negate. Like it all works out. So I summon Lady. I just set 3 and pass. I can't even attack you, so it is what it is. But they do the same thing. They set their stuff up. So what I do, I just play Sinful Spoils Subdual. And that's the thing, right? I don't even normally summon her, but because I see what they're about to do, I just summon her immediately. And the reason why I don't summon her is because I can't activate her effect during the main phase. So what I do, I just do it during the draw phase or standby phase. So I use Needle Bug Nest, and I set a rollback with Lady with her effect, and I mill the 5 cards. I milled another Lady, a Torby, another Lady, a Torby, a Trap Trick, a Chandelier, and a Vivitel. So Vivitel is good because I have that on standby. If they're trying to really destroy my Diabells, I can just put her back into my hand. And I destroy a rollback and destroy their Gargoyle or the Centurion. I can't pronounce that. Alexia, I don't know. And as you see, I played my Omni Negate using the Azamina Determination. And all I did was just shuffle my Simple Spells Subdual back into my deck. Now I have my Omni negate. They do their Centurion combo. And they summon Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Now that would have been pretty bad if I let that go off, so I negated it. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck that is treated as a synchro summon. Then, if this card was sent to the graveyard synchro material for a Dark Dragon synchro monster, you can destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. That would have been really bad. Well, not as much. They would have destroyed Diabells, because that's the thing. Like I told you in my last video, when people see her on the field, they want to get rid of her immediately. So I didn't even notice that's what the guy was trying to do. I thought he was trying to just summon another Archfiend, but that's why I negated it. But I didn't realize the other effect. He was gonna destroy my entire field of attack position monsters. So he wanted to get rid of this, right? So because I negated that, it didn't matter. So now he uses Hot Red Dragon Archfiend to negate her effect. Because as you see, he needs he must have a bunch of quick play spell cards in his hand. He has to have that many. Because he's trying to get rid of her so bad. He tried to destroy her by an attack mode, didn't work. And now he's trying to negate her effect. And no, I can't let you do that. Sorry. Lost win. Target one faceless special summon monster on the field. Negate its effects permanently. Also, its original attack is half. So, there's nothing he can really do. I had to stop that. So he's forced to end his turn. And I use rollback, use trap trick, just to set myself up for next turn. And this is the combo I was talking about. When you have Lady on the field with Diabells, every time I activate a trap card, I'm going to set one. And that one I set will destroy. I'll destroy the set one to destroy a card they control. And my graveyard already have. Do I have big? Yeah, I have Big Welcome. I have Vivid Tail. I have a lot of ways to just maneuver around. And even with Vivid Tail, I can return her to the hand if he tries to destroy her and summon her again, because that's the thing. Vivid Tail works for Diabellstar and Diabells, because when they summon themselves, they're not activating effects. And Vivid Tail says you can target one face-up card you control, set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you do, return that face-up card to the hand. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same name that card had once it returned to the hand. She's not activating the effect. She just special summons herself if there's a simple spell or trap in the graveyard, or a simple spells card in the graveyard. Well, technically, if I had to bring her back, I couldn't play her when I think about it now, because this is not a simple spoils card. And I shuffled the only one that I had in my deck. So all I could really do is possibly set one with Lady after I activate a trap card. But I didn't have to do that. As you see, this is a quick play spell. They couldn't use it last turn. That's why they try to get rid of it. They try to get rid of her, because she's just she's an oppressive card in the meta if used right, in my opinion. And I can say I'll use her right. Other people probably use her a different way, but I'm trying to use her to her full potential. I'm going to keep setting cards every turn to pop my opponent's cards. And the cards I'm popping myself will either be a Paleozoic, which doesn't get destroyed, or it'll be something that I want in the graveyard. So I set up another rollback, and I put my computer is slow. I put a Black Ghost Laugh. So I put that in there just in case they're about to play some type of card, like another synchro monster that was going to be a nuisance. But they didn't have the actual stars to actually play Crimson Dragon, so I wasn't worried about that. They didn't have enough. Oh no, they actually did, but they decided not to do that, I think. Oh yeah, that's why. They were, I think they were trying to do that, but I destroyed their 8 star before that even happened. Or they were trying to summon something. So now they synchro again. And they summon Super Dragon Archfiend again. So I return that to the hand, and I get my Labyrinth furniture cards back. Now, I could have set up my big welcome with the furniture cards, but I didn't do that. I decided to wait and do it now. And now I'm just going to pop their field spell. And I have a disruption card in my graveyard and big welcome. And I'm just going to keep on spamming it because why not? Now look at that. They set all their stuff, right? So I'm going to assume this is probably Call by the Grave. They probably had a Call by the Grave set. They had to have one set. They didn't have impermanent set because they would have used it. It probably was like another trap card, maybe. Because they had some Archfiend stuff. And I return that to the hand. And I just attack for game. So let me look at their deck. So they have 49 cards. Yeah, it was like a Red Dragon Archfiend Centurion deck. So the fact that they set 4 and pass, it had to be a Call by the Grave face down. It had to be this probably. Maybe it was this. Maybe. It was definitely, he had that. Right? It could have been this. Maybe it was this too. It definitely wasn't this because they would have definitely used that. They would have used. They probably had Mirror Force, but I doubt it. I doubt it. They had Mirror Force. But they had all synchro. So even D barrier would have just shut this whole thing down. Honestly. But I mean, hey, you gotta be toxic to win and Yu-Gi-Oh! So it is what it is. But those are the 3 games I played this morning, and I have 2 more games to get to Diamond 4 if I can win them. So I'll most likely play them when I get back from work. That's the thing about my deck too. It has a lot of weaknesses. Chain blocking me can really mess me up. And definitely banishment. Cashier just destroys me. Shufflers, they can really mess me up. Firewall Dragon can destroy me. But I can win on turn 1 or turn 2, and I can lose on turn 1 and turn 2. So it's just what you have in your deck, like how you play your cards. And I would say, because I'm not playing hand traps, that can help me out, because I'm going to always have the cards I draw I actually need for my combos. So hand traps are just basically defensive cards, most likely. They're disruption, which is good, but sometimes they can be dead cards in your hand. And then sometimes, if your deck relies on your hand traps and you don't have them, then it could cost you the game by not having them. Hand trap doesn't cost me the game because I don't even use them. So anything I have, I actually need in the graveyard, or I need it in my hand. It doesn't really matter. But then again, that can still cost me the game, because if they have hand traps, they can stop my stuff. And that's the reason why I have to have Call by the Grave to give me a better chance. And that's why I have to have Chain Hole to give me a better chance. And when I counted with my deck, technically I have 7 Omni negates. I have 2 Omni card negates in Severa. I have 2 extra deck Omni negates in Azamina Sylvia and Barudras. And rollback, copying Silvera, is an extra 3. So that I have 7 Omni negates in my deck. So I have disruption. I have a lot of disruption. However, it can be countered fairly easy, and sometimes I gotta play around it. So it is what it is. I would say this is probably my strongest deck I've ever had. Even when I got the diamond a couple seasons ago, this deck I would say is stronger than that one, because that one was running the Supreme King Zark, and I didn't even have an Omni negate in that type of deck. I think I had Severa, Sinful Spoils too, but this one literally has 7 Omni negates. 4, it has a good 4, but counting rollbacks, I have 7, and I can always get rollback back, no pun intended, and you would do it again. I can always put it back into my graveyard, or shuffle it into my deck again and search it out again, or put it back into my graveyard. I can keep on doing that. So this is probably the first deck where I have 4 Omni negates with a possible 3 more, making us 7. So I'm gonna see how this deck goes in Diamond, and I still have some time left because I got to Diamond fairly quicker than I've done in the past. So I'll see if I can get. My goal is to get the Master with this deck. So I'm gonna see how it goes. Either way, I'm having fun playing it and realizing little strategies I can do to make my deck better. However, I do want to make another deck, and that's why I may make that tonight and test it out and see how it goes. But other than that, that's it for the stream. And This is Celric. I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.